Brian's question, is it garbage to order deli meat by the dollar amount instead of the weight?
I said $3. That says $3.25.
Let me get $3 a ham and $5 on pump 4. Buddy, I love you.
Get your tickets now at arugarbage.com. We want to see you out there.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Are You Garbage? The show where you find out if your favorite comedians are classy individuals or absolute trash. Now, here are your hosts, Kevin Ryan and H. Foley.
Hey, everybody out there, and welcome back to everybody's favorite podcast. This is Are You Garbage? It's that little show we sit down with your favorite comedians, and we find out if they're good to be classy, or if they're just a big old piece of trash. Trash. I'm your host, H. Foley, coming at you on a beautiful day. We're out back here at Tootie's in a new edition. She's down at the bar shooting a little stick.
Okay.
Playing a little 9-ball.
Love it.
My co-host is coming at you from right next to me. He is the CEO of Are You Garbage? He is an international businessman and my best pal in the whole wide world. Give it up for KJ. Kevin James Ryan, everybody.
What up, gang? Thanks for tuning in. As always, please make sure you rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. Full video available on YouTube. As you know, those numbers are cooking, baby. And then obviously the greatest website of all time, www.patreon.com/areyougarbage. You go over there, you get all your content, baby.
How about a nice shout out to our producer extraordinaire, the old magic man, makes us all look good, works the ones, the twos, the threes, and the fours. He crosses the T's and he dots the I's. Give it up for T-Bone McScruffins. Toby McMullen, everybody.
What up, boys?
What up,
Excited?
I'm stoked, man. This guy's vibes are through the roof.
Coming in hot.
Comes in hot, wheeling and dealing off
Yeah,
Jump
he's
Street,
He's
dude.
trying to close right now.
Trying to throw us out of our goddamn house. What are you talking about? Trying to give us a low ball offer. But gang, the long hair ain't lying because we couldn't be more excited to have our incredibly, and I mean incredibly special guest here with us today for the first time. He is a very funny stand-up comedian and actor. Got a little bit of cash on him, too. You might have seen it in, but not limited to. You got Third Watch, Law & Order, Invincible, Reigns, Boston Legal, Brothers, Let Go, Marin. You got The League, Horace and Pete, Blackmail. You got The Punisher. You got Shades of Blue, Crashing, Hustlers, got his own Comedy Central Presents, Last Call with Carson Daly, Jimmy Kimmel Live, WTF, Lopez Tonight, The Tonight Show, 44 episodes of Chelsea Lately. How you doing? The comedian. He's got two amazing specials, Filthy Operation, and the point is, gang, give it up for the one, the only, Dov Davidoff, everybody.
Guys,
There
thanks,
he is.
everybody.
Sharp, too.
Yeah, good-looking guy.
Keeps it tight.
I keep it pretty tight. I tell you, the credits. Yeah.
I don't want you looking around this place. I feel you're like a human tape measure.
What do you pay per square foot here?
No. Listen, I'm just, making observations. What the audience doesn't really, we were talking about real estate before that, how to determine a valuation for the space they have and whether or not they were being overcharged on their
Buddy,
lease.
I should have talked to you before I
on
signed
their
the lease.
renegotiation. I don't want to leave you guys out of the contextual loop. Before he got into the 45 credits, 44 of which I could give a fuck about.
Oh, man.
He's a straight shooter.
He is.
He's
I
calling
love him.
balls and strikes, baby.
Yeah, we're big fans, man. We always thought you were hysterical. It's great to have you here.
It's a cool operation.
Thank you,
guys
buddy.
have.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you guys
you.
are clearly pros, too. It's interesting to...
We're not. We've kind of backdoor fell into
Yeah,
this.
but that's what it means
I'm
to
drunk.
be a pro, right?
Shaking off an 8-ball right now. Dying. Give us the backstory, Dov.
Backstory.
You're a
Grew up,
Jersey
childhood.
Yeah. I was Jersey. I come from Jersey. I grew up in a junkyard in Englishtown, which is
Really?
yeah, an actual junkyard. We had a dirt driveway across the street. Was a junkyard. My father was in the junk business, but it was a very strange. I think that's how I got into comedy. It's I don't know. I guess who gets into comedy? People that are looking at the world from the outside, right?
You got to be fucked up a little bit.
Right, but that's right. I think that's the umbrella idea, And beneath that, you're sort of trying to reconcile existence, I think, without dropping a
tell dick jokes.
philosophical
I don't know.
anvil. No, but dick jokes are a way to come at it as well. I mean,
Sure, you're looking at you always had a different lens of the world.
I mean, growing up in a junkyard, I think that's a good
it wasn't
start.
just the junkyard.
That's most of Jersey, though. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, look, parts of it, especially where I grew up. But, I mean, it wasn't Short Hills. I mean, it was a fucking... Anyway.
You know what a house costs over there, huh?
Yeah.
I can show you something.
By the way, no, that's an ironic thing. Things have gone up by 30, 40% in the suburbs. In the city, it's been flat for 10 years residentially, and the building you're in is worth half of what it was pre-COVID. I'm telling you, for real. But anyway, the audience doesn't care about things that are important. Let's talk about this.
Was your dad successful in the junk business? Was it a lucrative
business? They made
business?
money over time, but success is a contextual thing. I mean, he had a pocket full of cash at a certain point,
Sure.
but it's like being, it's like being the son of the local, If you grow up in the projects, you have money if your father has a pocket full of cash, but that doesn't mean you have real money. It's all relative.
Gotcha.
But my father was an uneducated Jewish business guy from the Bronx. My mother was a hippie intellectual, went to Columbia, WASP from California. On her way to teach piano in India, she stopped off to meet she had a lesbian friend who owned a monkey. The woman that owned the monkey.
It's like a Rodney Dangerfield setup.
It's a wild scene. I'm telling you, when I used the word reconcile, it wasn't because somebody had a wacky painting in the living room. I was really trying to deal with some shit.
Goddamn monkey looking at me.
No, but the monkey died before I was born. but
God rest his soul.
But that's the kind of scene, this crazy scene. But she was on her way to India, but she stopped over. She met my father, and then they were married for a little while.
Where'd they meet? Up in the Bronx or in the city?
No, Jersey.
Okay.
Across the street from the Junkyard in Jersey. And
that's where they met?
Yeah, that's where the woman was renting a house that owned the monkey. You couldn't get a good rental back then if you had a monkey.
Yeah, you had to go out to Englishtown.
Yeah, you were out in this area where, you could live with a monkey.
She stopped off. She stopped.
Can't be in the Bronx with a goddamn monkey.
Yeah, where you going to
go? Son-in-laws around
Midtown
here.
Manhattan when this building was worth something back in the day with a monkey?
Wait, so she was visiting her friend. Your dad owned the junkyard.
He owned the house that the monkey owner was living in.
Okay.
This little shitty rental property. You can only imagine what it was. But they met, and so, but then she got involved in a commune. They were convinced for many years. She spent most of her divorce money on freeze-dried food and earth-integrated housing. It was a cult. But
we are off to the races.
and so she was up there. They would meet at St. Patrick's Cathedral in the city here in Manhattan, and then they bought this land upstate, and they were convinced that the apocalypse was inevitable, but that they would be protected by a force field. Classic upbringing.
Boy Scouts baseball games.
And what age were you when they divorced?
2, but they lived in the same house for the following 10 years.
Jeez.
So, and then, I ended up for a little while, went to just a few weeks, but it made an impression. I was on a commune in India, Sai Baba, this guy would walk around in an orange robe, and we would stay on these concrete floors for 25 cents a night. You'd go back to where I grew up in Jersey, and you couldn't communicate these things to anybody.
Some guy in Jersey, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to explain that to your dad?
Yeah, exactly. You could barely...
I got a fender on a Ford Escort if you need it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Your parents got married. Right. Are you an only child or you have brothers and sisters?
I have a brother. He became a shrink.
He became a psychiatrist.
Yeah, another way to reconcile existence.
Sure. Older or younger than you?
2 years younger.
2 years younger.
Yeah.
So they get married, they have you, then they have your brother, and they divorce.
Split.
Yeah.
And then they live on the junkyard for 10 years. Did you know that they were divorced when you were a little kid?
Yeah. They would yell at each other and lived on separate floors.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
That was the clue. They were living on separate floors.
That's a dead giveaway.
No, really. And
Something's up there.
but anyway, like if you come from that kind of background, it was so crazy making that you find a way to reconcile.
Yeah.
Or you end up on heroin or something.
Yeah, and so she took you. Did she take your brother to India too?
Yeah. It was a whole family operation.
Not your dad though.
No. My father was.
This is when she was starting to do the.
Yeah, she got involved in this commune cult thing, and they had good intentions. They weren't, it wasn't a destructive philosophy, but it was very ethereal, and they spent a lot of their money and their time in ways that would have been otherwise used for a sustainable life. If they had
And then
A couple of Tonka trucks.
And
yeah,
then-
you know.
and then after 10 years, that's when she moved up there.
She never moved up there full time. You know,
Where'd she
went
go after
back-
she lived in the house with you?
She went back to school. She lives on the Lower East Side right now. She's a painter
So stayed
and
in
a
the
psychoanalyst. Stayed in the area, and then you know, and so from there, you know, I was thrown out of school, but then I went back, went to Rutgers for a little while, and then I left, and then you know, I got into comedy, and I started working on Wall Street actually when I was 21.
You did.
Yeah, or 20. I was 19 or 20, and then that's how I got involved in comedy. Yeah.
New York Exchange or the American Exchange?
New York, New York, the one where people, you know, that crazy floor when you get that
This
image.
was what year are we talking about?
Yeah,
here?
it was really like
Late
this. 1937.
That was a good year.
But before we move on too far from the cult,
Yeah,
what was
yeah,
the
sure.
vibe like when the apocalypse didn't show up?
Are they still
Oh,
waiting?
did they have a date?
Well, it's a good question. They didn't have a date, so there's no
Respect. Don't ever write anything.
Yeah.
It ain't
Never
That's how
write
you-
anything down.
Don't commit to a date.
That's if you don't commit to a date, you're always waiting.
Yeah,
you know,
That's how you lose
you
customers.
can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Business 101.
Yeah, start
baby.
walking out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
the freeze-dried food?
Well, when the apocalypse hit, you'd need freeze-dried food
Well, a
because you
couple
wouldn't have
Dippin' Dots.
access to markets. Really, you know, and you'd have to have stuff that stays good for decades.
So was she going on about this stuff when you were a kid? Were you taking
yeah, I
this
was
in?
very aware of it, absolutely. You know, and also when you grow up around, I mean, working class kids, I didn't know people whose parents had been educated or whatever. So,
Gotcha.
Growing up in that, you couldn't.
But she was
reconcile
educated. She went to
it.
Columbia.
Yeah.
But
she,
just
she
in
became
that-
an house, but she was the only educated person I knew.
Gotcha.
And so the environment I was in was, you know, was a junkyard. You know who's
Sure.
yeah.
What was the school? Public school, I presume.
Public school.
Public
yeah,
school.
Public school. Yeah.
Otherwise,
no,
outs-
Dalton in Midtown Manhattan. Yeah.
They bust me up.
They bust me in. 3.5 hours each morning I rode back and forth.
he went to Pence.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, just for the record, I had to confirm. You know what I mean?
Outside of the home, normal childhood, like baseball, sports.
Nah,
Friends.
No?
What was the friend situation?
didn't have. I don't remember a lot of people close to me. But yeah,
Hey,
no,
you
no.
walk around quoting Revelations. people are going to stay curious.
Speaking in tongues and shit.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was a very strange, you know, kind of existence in some ways. But
How was the house? Was the house nice?
nah,
It wasn't.
no,
No good.
no.
What was like a normal day? So you take the bus to
It
school.
was okay, you know.
You take the bus to
I
school.
would take the bus to school.
Take the
yeah.
bus. You
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to school. You come home, and
the
then you're
bus.
just hanging out on the property.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
had a
play in the junk?
motorcycle? Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to have we would shoot out the back glass. The back
That's not
glass.
really playing in the junk, Dov.
Oh, it's very playful. The back glass. The back glass would burst as opposed to the front glass, which is sandwiched so that it doesn't do that if you're in an
It
accident.
would take the bullet. Yeah.
The back glass, the front glass would just put a hole in it, but the back glass really there's an explosive quality to it, just very enjoyable.
What kind of? Is just you and your brother doing this?
Yeah.
What kind of nickel
yeah,
were
yeah.
you using? What are you guys shooting?
We had a shotgun. We sawed it off with a Dremel, and
With a Dremel.
yeah, no, it was we had just a couple of things, and then you get in a car. We could get in a car and
Sure.
bang it into shit.
Oh, 'cause
you
there's
know, my
there's
father
working
owned the
cars,
place.
yeah.
It's not like
Would you guys work there?
So it was a lot of fun in some ways.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Would you guys work there in the
I
summer?
worked there. Yeah.
And would he
yeah.
sell like with
Yeah.
like? Because my mom, when things were lean when I was a kid,
Yeah.
if like a tail light went out, she would
Yeah,
go to a junkyard.
that's who would go in.
That's how you
Somebody
do it.
would walk up. They want to do the work in their own car. You know the demographic, right? I mean, they're not going back into Porsche to get their car fixed.
Sure.
They're showing up. They got a 85 Chevy Impala, and they need an alternator.
And that was the main source of revenue. It wasn't like he was selling scrap
You would crush
wholesale.
it. You would do that too,
Okay.
right? So the junkyard business was vertically integrated. You took the you had
Man, this guy's
Who
sharp.
shot out all these windows? Trying to sell them.
exactly.
You are the most eloquent dirtbag
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
ever been in
exactly.
here, dude.
That's the name of my next special. Eloquent Dirtbag.
With dirtbag.
Oh, dude, that's perfect.
I actually
all
like
right.
that. I like that. That's a good name. I might steal that. But
It's all yours.
yeah,
Give
no,
it
you'd
10%.
crush the cars, and
That had to be cool.
yeah, you'd ship the metal out, and you'd take it with a forklift. You bring it onto the crusher, it would crush the car, and then you take a crane, you pull out all the metal that you could use and sell, and try to separate it from all the other garbage. We would call it like cleaning out the aluminum and stuff, and you'd ship it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And when your mom moved out, so you were 10 when she moved out.
Yeah.
Did she go to the Lower East Side?
Where did she go? Highland Park, New Jersey, and then she ended up on the Lower East Side.
Would you split your time, or did you stay at the Junkyard?
Oh, that was interesting. I didn't even think about that. From the time I was 16, maybe earlier than that, or 17. I lived alone. Because
What?
Yeah. My father
It's
owned
probably
the
better
house.
off.
I forgot all about this.
when?
Bringing back old memories.
Welcome to the show.
You're not 700 years old. That
No,
wasn't
no,
that long ago.
no, it wasn't. But you try to put it behind you. You understand?
Sure. And we're just
You guys are
digging it
digging
up.
shit up for God's sake. You know, I'm gonna go to a psychiatrist when I leave
Call
here.
your brother.
Yeah. No.
Does the shotgun represent the love you didn't get? Do you feel-
Yeah. Yeah, no, they divorced and I didn't want to choose. And my father owned the house. He said, live there. You know, he said, fuck her and live there. You know,
And
didn't
he
like my
bounced.
mother.
Where did he go?
He remarried. And
He
lived
remarried.
like 20 minutes away. And so I just stayed alone. And they put somebody in who was over 18, a family friend.
Wait, you were 10 at that
No,
time?
no, I was like 16,
Oh,
17.
okay. When she, okay, all right. I got you.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, Jesus.
Yeah,
So you stayed in the
16.
house.
16, because I was still in high school, yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you go
stayed
and
in
see
house.
your dad and
Yeah,
stuff
was
like
that a
that?
He was at the Junkyard during the day across the street.
Right.
I'll walk across the street, see him during the day. So it was it wasn't, you know, it was just, I didn't want to choose. And yeah.
Was there ever a time where there was like family dinners and like you guys were sitting around the
Was it
table
ever
together?
a unit?
Not one time.
Not one.
No.
If you
I
wanna-
mean, if you divorce when I'm 2, it means the relationship was shitty by the time I was born.
Sure. Sure.
Already down in the count.
Yeah.
What would you do for dinner at night?
I
Make
don't know.
your own
My mother
stuff?
was a hardcore vegetarian. It was horrible food around the house. Horrible. But my father liked good stuff. We go to a diner once in a while. You know,
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah.
All that was normal. But my mother was a hardcore
Well, who would
hippie
do the grocery
vegetarian.
shopping when you were living on your own?
It's a fucking good question.
I don't know. That goddamn monkey, maybe.
When I was on my own, my father had a meat guy would drop stuff off once in a while, and then I don't remember if there was anything like fresh that somebody bought. I don't remember going to a store.
Would
These
you
are
have
good
like,
questions.
cereal in the morning and stuff like that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember stopping at like 7-Eleven on the way to school in the morning. 16, I had my permit. 17, I was driving. I had a car. Yeah, you pick something
No
up.
trouble getting cars with the Junkyard, I assume,
No,
right?
I always had cars.
Yeah.
What was that
Yeah.
first car?
And you could throw a dealer's plate on the car. I used to take cars and I would run them off a ramp and see which ones had axles broke. These early Toyotas. No, the Nissan made a quality operation. Mid-'80s. You couldn't break those fucking cars. The American cars would break faster. But you know.
What did your house smell like? Did it smell like patchouli and stuff? Was the hippie out like
no,
that?
because my father was downstairs, and so he had a regular operation that they would cook real food. Actually, no, they kept titles to cars in the oven, so nobody cooked down there. But upstairs,
In case there was a fire.
there was really titles. No, he just stored them there like it was a file cabinet. He had all these titles to used cars because you got to go to sell the used car in order to prove you own it. You need a title.
Yeah.
And that was the ownership docs. They were kept in the oven as the ownership docs should be. But yeah, no, I don't know. She lived upstairs, and I don't know what the fuck went on up there. I mean, it's a smoke, you know. There's
Are you tight with your brother now?
yeah.
You
yeah,
see your
pretty
mom a
close.
lot?
Not a lot. No,
Not a lot.
no,
What about
no,
your
no,
pop? Is
no,
your
no.
pop still with
Dead,
us?
Dead.
Passed
Dead.
away.
Died of AIDS at 21. Used to bang guys.
Your dad?
Yeah. And my father was like a real
What?
guy. Yeah, it's a wild scene.
Wait a
And,
minute. He was
I have
20?
a joke
he
about
was
it.
21.
Oh,
You
I
were
was
20.
21 when my father died of AIDS. Yeah, and
God damn.
it was a wild scene because I had a joke. What was the joke? That my father was a real guy. Like nothing about him was gay. I mean, except for the fact that he banged guys. But he used to say, I forget it. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was an interesting, wildly
Di-
dysfunctional
yeah,
situation.
Duality, yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's crazy.
It was wild.
That's
yeah.
one of the craziest stories you've ever heard on.
And how did
Yeah.
you find out? Did he just call you? It was like, I have a.
No, he never said it. We found out sort of later on because we were kids. He wanted to protect us from that, and that was still very stigmatized back then.
Sure.
Kip, this is Mac Weldon.
Shout out to Mac Weldon.
Guys, you tend to think that if you got to look sharp, you got to wear like a stiff shirt and like
Like you're go-
uncomfortable pants.
Like
and
you're
all that.
going to court or something. It ain't got to be that.
No, doesn't have to be that. Mac Weldon makes timeless apparel with modern performance fabrics for guys who want to look good and feel sharp without sacrificing comfort. You ever put on a stiff shirt?
Oh,
They're
I
brutal.
feel an itchy sweater right now from when I was 9 years old.
From light as air underwear to innovative anti-odor tees and versatile yet comfortable pants, Mac Weldon has a full range of clothes that never go out of style.
The good folks over at Mac Weldon, I'm not sure if it was Mr. Mac Weldon himself or who it was, They let us wet our beak with some nice gear.
I got a nice tote coming and some socks. A bunch of socks.
The only thing that fit you was a tote bag. I loaded up. I needed a fresh restock of undies and T-shirts. Oh, my God, baby.
Good stuff.
I'm all over the place in these things.
It's all right.
It's fantastic. Get timeless looks with modern comfort from Mack Weldon. Go to mackweldon.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GARBAGE. That's Mack Weldon, MackWeldon.com. Promo code GARBAGE.
Kip, this is Manscaped, baby.
Shout out to the OG Manscaped.
Yeah, Father's Day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your pop's balls look fresh and clean.
Uh-huh.
In case he gets any action later that night when they put you kids to bed with a little NyQuil.
Uh-huh.
Shut you up. Gang, Manscaped has been with us since the beginning.
Uh-huh.
They just keep innovating, baby. Gets better and better.
Yep, whether it's for the boys downstairs, your beard, your dad's beard, or you want the best pair of underwear out there, Manscaped has his bases covered. Head to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GARBAGE. Go from daddy to zaddy real quick. By just trust Manscaped, baby. That's all you got to do. You get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GARBAGE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off. That ain't nothing to shake a stick at. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code GARBAGE. Never forget where you came from. If you know what I mean, happy Father's Day from Manscaped. Take care to dad in your life, or listen to, even if it's you. Run a tight ship for your lady friend or your
Trim
man
the
friend.
nuts.
What are we doing? Take care of your body hair. It's not the 70s anymore. Manscaped.com.
Man.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah, wild scene.
And then after high school, you went. Where was the first college you went to?
I went to Rutgers for a little while before that. I went to Rutgers, Newark for a little while.
Okay.
You
Little
know?
satellite campus.
Yeah, but then I took off, and then I ended up on Wall Street, and that's when I started comedy when I was around
How'd you
21.
get the job on Wall Street without a college
Buddy of mine
degree?
was down there. You could still get a job clerking for what they call $2 brokerages. You can go for your Series 7. They were
Sure.
hustling type jobs. Where you
Gotcha.
could
Still,
still,
yeah. Entry level, you didn't need. There
Yeah,
wasn't a lot
and
of barrier. It's like if you're a hustler,
if
get
you're a
in
hustler,
there,
you
earn.
could do it,
Yeah.
and then if people liked you, they pick you up, and you can still make a lot of money down there, and then you go back and finish whatever aspects of
My
it.
brother worked on the American Exchange for
Yeah.
about 15 years.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of old school guys like that,
Yes.
like no degree and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Did
Yeah.
you do good on Wall Street?
Yeah, I had to raise real fast and did well, and then
Growing up, you didn't have a lot of money, I would assume, right?
my father started to make money. The thing about junkyards are the barriers to entry in that business are very high because EPA standards prevent anybody from just coming in. You can't open a junkyard.
Gotcha.
You could grab a few mics and some cameras and set up a podcast studio. Try opening a junkyard. These fucking permitting process and the
You punks think you're
bureaucracy.
doing something?
You son of a bitch. You plug in something to an outlet, you hire a long hair, and you think
Try dumping antifreeze down a creek. They're all over you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it started to do well. It's a cash business. I mean, you don't report much. But
Okay.
I mean,
Gentlemen.
it's dirty and it's rough and it's blood money, but
Who took it over after your dad passed?
Sold it.
Sold
My
it.
father passed. We sold it to a consortium of Russian businessmen. We never met the people that put up the money.
Nice.
They were looking
sketchy.
for strip clubs, gas stations, and junkyards. Cash business.
Whoa.
You get a good penny on it?
Not that great,
Really?
Yeah.
And this is you and your brother.
It's hard to trade a sort of a business that, my brother and I, and then, I mean, to sell a business, you want to be able to prove cash flows, net operating income, expenses. The records were spotty at best, and
Everything was in the oven.
Yeah, but those
Lot
guys
in
are
the
like the car crusher. It crushed bones as well.
I never met those guys. They sent
probably
somebody
better
else
off.
in. They sent a proxy in to acquire the place. There wasn't a lot of underwriting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any
yeah.
pets at the
That's
house?
pretty cool.
Any pets at the house?
Got a goldfish named Whiskers.
I had a fucking pit bull. This thing took out probably 8 of the 12 cats next door to me. There was a big problem.
Jesus.
It killed everything.
Junkyard dog.
Nah.
No?
Didn't enjoy the junk.
CPA.
Exactly. No, cardiologist. Worked at a hospital part-time. Just hated cats.
Good guy. A little weird. Okay.
What about the holidays? Would you guys celebrate holidays?
Yeah.
Were you raised Jewish?
Culturally, in a sense, my father, sort of instilled the notion that there was a culture to be regarded, but we didn't understand. There wasn't a religious aspect.
You didn't do
to it.
temple. Did you get
No.
bar mitzvahed?
No.
No. Okay.
What were any vacations growing up?
I lost my virginity at 13. No, really, this was on one of the first vacations. My father hooked up with some lady. We went to a place in Cancun, I think. I got in a taxi. I said, take me to... Anyway, I banged a prostitute when I was 13. I was going into high school between 8th grade and it was the summer of... I believe it was the Coon.
Yeah.
But I don't... But anyway, yeah, things, like that. It was an interesting,
Wait, so
spotty life.
You went on vacation with your dad.
He was hooking up with some lady.
He was with a lady.
He
so
wasn't
they took
married
us.
to her.
Nah. I like that you pull that part out of the story. What are you, a Mormon?
Yeah. All of a sudden we're fucking...
They were unwed?
Did they sleep in the
I
same
just said I
bed?
fucked a hooker at 13. You were like, they were unwed, your father?
I assume there was separate bedrooms.
Disgraciad.
Disgraciad.
He asked her parents' approval before he left, right? No, that wasn't the lady that he married. So
Yeah, that's right. There wasn't.
and they took you two to Cancun,
Yeah, and I remember, but that's the
and you
kind
banged
of,
a prostitute at 13.
Yeah.
That's
but
wild.
then my best friend was a kid who grew up in East Harlem, and he had moved out to Jersey, and so I was spending a lot of time in 106 and 116th and 3rd. I mean, when it was real wild, and so as a kid, if you start to grow up fast and you're sort of a dangerous place in life, you're in a bad,
Sure.
what they call a high time preference. You're short term thinking. You end up doing weird shit. And
You
it
do
happens
have the
too
vibes
early.
of a guy who grew up quick. You
Yeah,
do. You're
yeah.
wise a little.
Yeah.
I feel you have a.
I mean, from what you just told us,
yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah, no, that's pretty wild.
Did
I
you
guess.
get in trouble in high school? Were your grades good?
No, my grades were good. They were fine, but I was thrown out. There was an explosive incident. They threw me out at 16 or 17, and then they put on home instruction. So they wanted me out of school, but I wasn't allowed to show up at the graduation. Really, the police got involved.
Can you back it up a little bit?
What was
Yeah,
the
sure.
explosion?
The explosion.
Oh, it was like a third of a stick.
piece of-
It was those
Like an
Cherry
M80.
bomb. M80.
M80's
quarter
the small
stick.
one. Yeah, the blockbusters are like a third or a quarter.
A
stick.
quarter stick of dynamite.
Yeah, I would.
You
I
threw it where? In the toilet?
No, commons area. There's a commons area. There was very explosive sound, and so a couple of people ended up in an emergency room for a hearing thing.
You threw a grenade in the lunchroom?
Doing a flashbang.
No. There was nobody around. Nobody really got hurt. It was just some broad ratted me out, and then and
Some
so-
skirt.
Yeah,
keep her mouth shut. Trying to have a good time here.
Some dame ratted me out.
Dude, you have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
demeanor of someone who would be
Yeah.
unfazed by a mugging. Like a guy would have a gun in your face, and be like, "Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do." And give
No,
you
I've never been. They've never tried to do that. to me.
Probably
I wonder why.
Probably pretty cool under fire, I would have to
Well,
assume.
reasonably, but I mean,
He would hate you with, "Do you even know why you mugging me?"
Where do you live?
Buddy, the safety's on. What?
Where do you live? What are you paying in rent? Have you thought about buying? It's a buyer's market right now.
It has been flat in Manhattan for years.
All right, so
Yeah.
21 you get into comedy
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
in New York,
New
what,
York
just
City. Yeah, my first
mics,
show.
clubs,
Open mics.
open mics.
Open mics like everybody else, just trying to get some stage time on the Lower East Side on Ludlow Street. That's where I bought my first building. I was walking around the Lower East Side, thinking that this area is not as bad as people think. When I was younger, before it became popular like it is now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of people might not know. Dov is heavy into real estate.
I'm not heavy. I'm not
You ain't
Bruce
light.
Ratner.
Yeah, you ain't light. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
apartment buildings. Yeah, no, in the context of somebody in comedy, I'm.
Yeah, you're fucking Rockefeller.
I'm. Yeah.
In comparison to us.
I'm J.P. Morgan compared to the average comedian, but not to the major real estate.
And see, you're 21 when you bought your first building in Manhattan.
No, 21. I started doing comedy, and then that's what brought me to the Lower East Side,
Right.
Ludlow Street. 4 or 5 years after that.
All right,
when
so
I
you're
got
26.
involved. Yeah, 25, 26.
And you're working on Wall Street.
Actually, I left Wall Street after about 2 years because I had to make a choice. Either I was going to do comedy, or I was going to sell a piece of my soul and stay on a.
Had you
something I
saved
wasn't-
up enough money to be? How did you buy the place on Ludlow Street?
Well, it was a couple hundred down, so I had 100. My brother had 100, and
Okay.
and
100,000?
yeah.
did you live there? Did you move into the building in one of the apartments?
No, not until I could afford to have me do that. Initially,
Okay.
you need when you leverage. Back then, it was about $220 down against $500,000 mortgage against a $720 purchase price, something like that.
I could listen to you talk
I
about this
know.
all day.
I'm
No,
fascinated.
and so you leverage, and it was four stabilized apartments over this shitty little diner. Some model opened up a fucking vegan diner. They didn't even make their own.
What year is this?
Anyway, no wonder it flopped in the first 6 months. This was mid 90s.
Holy
No,
shit.
late 90s.
Late 90s.
Late.
So you were her
yeah.
landlord.
Oh yeah.
Good looking lady?
Yeah, I can. She was a pretty good model, but what does that take? I mean, her diner was a mess.
Vegan eggs. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, she was a
Diner
mess.
was a
What
mess.
do you
a-
make, dude? Saying diners
You call
a mess.
these onion rings?
It makes it sound like the books are like everything.
No,
from
this
top
diner.
from bottom
You
to top.
open a fucking vegetarian diner. I mean, you think you got to at least produce a decent. What are they? Veggie burger?
Muffin,
it's like,
something.
Yeah,
Sure.
that would be. Your entire model would be contingent upon at least producing one fresh, decent thing. She would take these frozen packages. Where the fuck did you learn to do business? In a modeling shoot, you idiot? Anyway.
He's all busy. Do you still own that property?
No, I refinanced it, and then I sold it.
How long ago did you sell it?
Oh, years ago. Probably 10 years, 15 years ago, probably. Yeah.
Nice chunk of change?
It was an incredible investment, and it would not happen again today. And it was, I bought it for $220 down, right? Took the rest in mortgage, sold it for $4 million.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sold it for $4 million 10 years later, and lived in it for part of the time. So you can sort of back out that math, right? And
What
then
the
and then refied that and leveraged another deal on 10th Street. So I bought another apartment building, but. But that won't happen again. It was like these moments in time. In any free market system, you have these openings, and then they close. It's this undiscovered territory below Houston Street. Of course, it wasn't undiscovered. I mean, metaphorically. I was banging some girl on 10th Street.
You're all right, Dov.
Man,
Yeah.
both sides of the street with this kid. I like it.
Both sides.
You know what I started laughing at? You're talking about all this stuff. Colin Quinn's 65 years old. He told us he's still renting.
Never bought an
Doesn't
apartment.
own
You got to
anything.
talk to Colin.
Oh, he owns the
I
house on
love
Brooklyn.
Colin. Colin is so brilliant. His mind is so
It's
Unbelievable.
something
flooded
else.
with
Yeah.
esoteria.
Uh-huh.
His mind is so filled up with all
But that
this
just made me
shit.
think of that. You're buying places at 26.
Yeah,
And how many places do you
I
own
was
now?
always paranoid. I knew in entertainment that I couldn't put my finger on. You have these, I don't know. I just knew it was a feast or famine operation.
Sure.
I remember the first movie I did. Remembering like what the reality of it was as opposed to the perception
Sure.
of it, and so anyway, it's I don't know what people will like next year or the year after. I know that people will probably not want to live on the sidewalk. So,
In all of my research.
I mean, all my research indicates that is true.
If buy land because God's not making any more of it was a person, it would be you. I like that.
Yeah, it's like it's a
How many places do you own now?
probably about 40 apartments.
You own 40 apartment buildings?
Yeah, I got into development. I built 26 two-bedrooms on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, block and a half off the A train.
Wait, is this all in New York?
Those apartments, yeah, they're in Brooklyn. But 8 of them are stabilized. It's not that valuable. The 26 are valuable. It's a $16 million deal, but I have partners. But the so it doesn't all accrue to me, but that's the gross portfolio kind of in terms of the number of units. But
So you're rich.
it depends how you define rich.
Yeah, you are. That's how I define
That's something
it.
a rich guy says.
Yeah, that's a rich guy response.
No, it really does depend on
Well, let
it.
me think.
I have an ex-wife, right? Rich is
Okay.
relative to your expenses. Johnny Depp almost declared bankruptcy and had to sell assets in order to meet his expenses, right?
Okay.
And so I keep my lifestyle underneath my not really income, but I try to grow the net. You know,
Keep it tight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not blow. Listen, I keep a Porsche in a garage 10 blocks from here.
Okay.
And that's not cheap, right?
No.
$700 a month. I'm on. My garage costs me $9,000 a year with tips.
Man, that's
Right?
a bottom line guy right
And the
there.
and the Porsche $100,000. I mean, that's, just that alone requires significant passive income.
Sure.
And so it's
You're the first guy to say passive income on
I
the
know,
show in
man.
500
I
episodes.
love the way you talk.
otherwise it's a treadmill, and so you want to create something that works on its own, and so what you guys are doing, you invest your money so that you don't always have to,
Dude,
and
got the
then
wrong
and then
guys.
you say
We're upside down in
Yeah.
everything.
no, but
Now we're bad.
that's
We're
a lot
stupid.
of life. No, you guys are having fun. You're funny and you're successful, and that's fine. You just want to at some point, start to think about tomorrow.
Sure. No. Yeah.
What they call a low time preference.
That's got my Rocket Money account.
I got an Acorns account.
Cancel my subscriptions. Not
Yeah.
gonna get me, suckers.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
all right, you got the apartment that you live in. You got the
Yeah.
Porsche. Do you have another car? Or is that the day to day?
No. I don't. I would never keep 2 cars in Manhattan. That would seem superfluous. That would seem. I'm not. It would seem profligate.
Google
you know?
What's
Yeah.
profligate mean? Over the top?
Yeah, over the top. Like the government spends money in a profligate manner, and so it leads to very historic levels, deficit levels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, we're debasing the currency, which is an argument for Bitcoin. It's a decentralized storeholder value in theory if you bet on it now and things work out.
Did you get struck by lightning or something like that? Dude, this guy's a fucking genius.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No, you just
2 years at Rutgers.
No, I'm just sitting around the fucking Comedy Cellar. What else is there to do? I click on my cell phone. You can learn a thing or two. It's not that.
Put down the wings, Tubby. Do you own the apartment that you live in?
Yeah,
got it,
I'm in
right?
contract right now to sell it. I bought it all cash, built it. It was a little floor plate, and then put up a wall and 2 bedrooms, and that process is archaic. That bureaucracy. If we don't polish that bureaucracy, the Chinese are going to overtake us just on an efficiency basis. There's no way to sustain this economy
Dude, we got to have you
under
back
that
once a
level of
month.
bureaucracy.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is my all-time favorite episode.
What the hell?
All
Now,
right.
if you sold that place, where would you go? Would you just buy another apartment?
My kid lives in Jersey with
Okay.
his mother in Livingston, and so I go back and forth. That's why I keep a car here. Otherwise, I don't know that I would.
Gotcha. Do you have a place out there?
I don't, but I'm going to sell my place. My kid starts full-time school now, and so I may get a small place downtown, and then, it's a small place
So
in
you're
Jersey.
out there.
So I can go back and forth. I'm going to live with my son three days a week, 3.5
Out
days
there.
a week. Out there.
Keep
Gotcha.
his life the same.
Out there, yeah.
And then you're here
I'll
on
be
your
in
off
the
days.
city. Yeah, I'll be at the Comedy Cellar, work on,
And you'll take the
comedy
Porsche
stuff.
out there. That's your
I
main
go
mode
back
of
and forth.
transportation.
That's right.
What do you do in the winter with it?
That's right.
In a
Well,
garage.
it's in a garage.
No, but driving around the snow and shit, it's bad.
Oh, no, it's a Cayenne. It's an SUV.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
No,
All right.
911 doesn't have enough space, though they do retain their value better than almost anything else on the market.
fuck?
I'm telling you, I looked at a 2010 911 over at Manhattan Motor Car on 50th Street. This fucking car was 3 years old with 12,000 miles. They wanted 120 grand. It MSRP'd for 110. It grew in value as it aged. I couldn't get over that hump. I couldn't do it.
Man. Okay. So what? All right. You mentioned the garage. You said it's $9,000 a year with tips. What's that tip to the guys? What do you tip? them?
$5 every time I grab that car. I grab it at least 2-3 times.
You're
a
whacking
week.
them off once every time,
Right,
not
plus
at the end of the year.
Christmas.
What,
No,
you hit 'em at, what
I
do you
hit
hit them at
every
Christmas?
time. Otherwise, I call in, I text in. It'll take an hour and a half to get my car as opposed to 20 minutes if I stop giving out fives.
Yeah, no kidding.
And nobody will say anything. It
Yeah.
just gets longer and longer.
You keep those high fives coming, baby. You want that whip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kevin, let's talk about Fume.
Shout out to Fume.
If you're trying to kick the bad habit, gang, Fume can help.
They got you covered.
It's not vaping. It's flavored air.
No nicotine.
Get the fidget in there.
You got everything.
You got everything.
They're taking care of you. There's no batteries. You never need to recharge it.
Nope.
You're not one of those guys when you got a USB. I got the block. I just need the cord.
You can keep the habit, but lose the bad.
Yes.
There you go.
You know that saying, I'll drop you like a bad habit?
Mhm.
With Fume, They're helping you drop the bad habits.
Delicious flavors, calms anxiety.
Yeah, they send it's got the thing's got a little bit of a fidge, a little bit of movement on it. So when if you're having a stressful day, whatever, it calms the anxiety with magnet snaps and clicks. Adjust the airflow dial to make the satisfying sound. It's fantastic. Fume continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. Fume is backed by doctors in the U.S.
Look at that.
They have a bunch of different core flavors. They recommend crisp mint. They have orange vanilla.
Fantastic.
That's if you're an aristocrat. I'm a crisp mint man myself.
Start eating that thing.
Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use the code GARBAGE to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfume. TRYFUM.com. Use our code GARBAGE or scan the QR code on the screen to get a free gift with your order today.
There you go.
Do it.
Kev, let's talk about Mando.
Ooh, love that Mando gang.
Let's talk about smelling good and feeling good. And I'm talking to you big boys out there.
And there's a whole lot of yous, baby. Shout out to the heavy bike boys.
Listen, we all know deodorant isn't just for your pits. You got to get under the grundle. You got to get between the legs. You got to get behind the back. You got to do the trunk, the crawl space, the attic. You got to cover yourself so you're not kicking this summer. And Father's Day's around the corner. Give the old man a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, so when he makes a move on his old lady, she don't, kick him out of bed for smelling like an old hockey glove.
Mommy?
Yeah, let him, whatever. Gang, deodorant just for your pits. That's antiquated thinking. This is new school, baby. You're sweating everywhere. That's an old solution to an old problem. We got new problems here. I'm sweating everywhere.
Got sweat glands everywhere.
I got lunch meat coming out my pores.
Kevin puts it in his eyes.
I got to do something so you can control body odor anywhere with Shop Mando and get $5 off the starter pack. That's over 40% off, baby. That ain't nothing to shake a stick
There
at.
you go.
With our promo code GARBAGE at shopmando.com. One more time, $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% off with promo code GARBAGE. Control body odor anywhere at shopmando.com.
Smell like a dream this summer.
You got a doorman in the building?
No.
Okay.
I bought a floor plate, low expenses.
I don't know what's floor plate.
I'm sorry. Just a piece of a floor. It was a 1,200 foot, just a concrete space. Imagine, not unlike this.
So like a unit in a building you bought.
Yeah, it was an old
Gotcha.
commercial building, and so
No
it
shit.
becomes a loft. It's a lot like this space. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's right. Except in a residential building.
Jesus.
Okay.
But then, yeah. So it's
You're fascinated.
Yeah.
it
Genuinely fascinated.
Depends what you're interested in.
This is what I'm talking about.
You like making cash in real estate. I'm
No.
your guy.
No, I'm trying to reconcile existence, right?
Sure.
So we live in a capital society, and so it's look, the utility of money is very clear, right? There's a lot of data to support that. After you can live in a safe environment, keep your kid in a place where he's educated and relatively safe with decent health care, the utility of money falls off precipitously.
Drops, yeah.
Precipitously. It's
What's
simply
utility
a story.
money?
The utility of money, how much money you need, and the
And the value.
after $100,000 a year,
value
the value
of
of a
the
dollar
money.
goes down.
The value of the money.
You don't get joy out of it.
If you live in some shit part of Brooklyn near East New York and you're hustling in and you got 3 roommates and you can fix that with an apartment in a better neighborhood, and if you have a kid, those kinds of things. Once all of those things are met, it's very clear that money becomes fun or a story, but it's not a thing.
Gotcha.
It's not,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
utility of the money falls off.
All right.
Man, the eye rolls you
But
must
think
pass
about-
out at the table at the cellar listening to these.
No, nobody wants to talk to me.
Buddy, I do.
Yeah.
You're making them all feel bad. Bunch of losers.
You rent?
No, they're talking about, it's difficult.
Why don't you just eat your wings?
No, but the marginal utility is fascinating. If you have enough water to meet your needs, and I try to sell you another
You don't
bottle
want
of
it,
water,
yeah.
it's like, so when people are talking about these very big numbers, I don't know. I think we've gotten lost. It's like wanting a mansion. A mansion, unless you have the utility, if you have 13 kids and a staff and you're doing some communal thing, then there's utility in all of the extra space. Otherwise, it's just sort of an extension of some form of ego, or it's a vestigial extension. It's even worse than extension of ego. It's like it's based on a European estate where you had a manor and serfs and people working for you, and you had requirements for the space. No, it's just space. I don't correlate. You gotta stay away from the ego. It'll burn things up.
So you don't have like a vacation property somewhere?
No, if I'm not gonna be in that place for longer than 3 months out of the year, and I don't believe that it's a capital play where a value will appreciate, what the fuck would I want with the liabilities associated with the ownership in St. Bart's? You son of a bitch.
That sounds like commie talk to me. I don't like it. Where do you like to vacation?
Yeah, what's a vacation look like?
What do you do to treat yourself?
There's no. I was at a lake. I was at a lake in Jersey for a few days with my kid. I hang out with my kid. I found a mountain biking trail, things like that. It's like, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Like you can.
Is there any
I
way
don't
you do
fly
pamper
anywhere.
yourself? And like you're like, oh, I'm gonna splurge on.
Everything.
You don't fly anywhere?
Listen. I think of a car as something that, like a nice car, is something I don't really need. So that feels luxurious. But I don't believe in a fluffy lifestyle for the most part.
Where are you shopping for
know?
clothes? You're
I
together?
always go. Yeah, no. But I always that Nordstrom rack is tremendous. I mean, I look at when I walk around those boutiques, I'm horrified by those prices over on in Nolita. You know, I mean, I'll buy it for a broad. You're trying to get somebody's pants, but I'm not gonna fucking spend on that. What am I, an idiot?
Turns on a dime.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I
also
mean?
got the kind of body he could put on an $8 T-shirt and look all right. Yeah.
Nordstrom rack.
You know, the
nobody would
esoteric
ever know the
colonial
difference.
value of real estate, you know. But hey, you're trying to get laid. You're trying to get laid.
You throw a couple of bucks around.
No, yeah. What are you going to talk about Fed interest rates? I mean, you got to make something happen there. You know, hey, honey, it's pink.
Holy shit! All right, you got a lady now?
I'm
Next.
dating.
You're dating.
No. I'm dating. I'm dating.
you're
I was
dating.
trying to think about how to answer the question. I was seeing someone. You know, it came to an end. She had a flat affect, which is the inability to express oneself. You know, in terms of facial expressions.
Oh man, I bet you could rip somebody apart.
No. Listen, I probably got my own issues, but yeah.
So far, you've taken on China and the Fed. It's been 38 minutes. It's been 38
The
minutes.
Fed is incredibly impactful. I mean, really, people don't realize the Fed. This Jerome Powell is incredibly impactful for everyone's life. Interest rates are incredibly impactful when they're trying to slow the economy and they bring rates up and slow borrowing. It hammers certain things. This is this sector of real estate is.
Do you think it's at a good spot now, or are we going downhill?
But can't you not? It's so expensive to borrow money.
Well,
That's
it
like-
didn't used to be. And so when money was cheap, you can fund things that didn't necessarily produce cash flows. And so when the cost of capital rises, it's much more difficult to get something off the ground unless it's lean and profitable in some ways. And so, but there are these cycles. Those are credit cycles, you know, where the rates go up and down.
Where did you learn all this?
Yeah, what the fuck?
When you're in capital markets and you're following things. So when I had to refi money out of my development, when you go into a development, you have to underwrite the project, and you look at a piece of land. How do you determine the value? You have to determine how many buildable square feet you have, what the setbacks are, where the exposures are, and then you try to underwrite some value, add value in design. You know, I built for a shared demographic, so I shrunk the living room because for people sharing an apartment, that would be less important. But what's more important is 2 bathrooms. And so if you're sharing all of those people that can't afford to live in Manhattan coming in from Brooklyn, anyway, you try to underwrite the value, and then
Toby just re-signed his lease with a highlighter.
Yeah, we couldn't find a pen in here. That's how behind the 8 ball.
no, but we're all trying to figure it out.
My lease is up in a week and a half, and I just
Is it
realized I had to make some phone calls.
Well,
What are you talking about?
but the problem is
Got him right here.
I'll get you in
Yeah.
a 2-bedroom on Nordstrom Ave if you need it.
no, but we have no open units. Residentially. But
You would not qualify.
Hey, buddy, why don't you take a shower and hit the soup line, will you?
I'm a good time.
Hey, I got 2 words for you.
I-
Co-signer.
Hey,
No, there's
are
a
you
manager.
a mushroom guy? We could work something out.
Listen, mushrooms are fascinating. Yeah. My brother was trying to grow them a little bit. Microdosing is, emerging as some sort of investable market. I don't know.
What is a Dove Vice? Do you like a cocktail? Do you dabble in
Listen,
the psychedelics? Do you smoke a joint? How do you
I'm
take
not
the edge
opposed
off?
to anything. I try not to get too heavy into any of it, because then we use all of that stuff to deal with our own darkness, right? And then that's where you have problems, and it's a slippery slope. So I mean, I like drinking
What's the go-to
You know?
drink?
Oh, just Stoli on the rocks. With a
Stoli.
lime. Yeah, Stoli on
Stoli
the rocks
guy.
with lime. Yep.
You keep
Stoli.
that at the house? You got a little bar set up at the house?
Bar card?
No, I got 2 things at the house. I had some tequila right now, and I have some like a good whiskey.
I would imagine you keep the place pretty tight.
It's
You're
just-
probably
it's
a neat,
white
organized
room,
guy.
reasonably organized. I keep it reasonably clean. I don't hire a cleaner. I like to do it myself.
You do it yourself.
Yeah.
What kind of vacuum you got? You got a Dyson?
No, I got a little thing. I usually sweep, and then I have one of those little small vacs, but it's
Gotcha.
powerful.
What's your
Yeah.
cleaning schedule? Do you take
There's
one?
no schedule. Whenever it starts to look like,
you tighten it up.
Yeah, whenever I'd be, like I'm on these apps, and you're dating, and whenever I'm thinking like I'm meeting somebody Wednesday night and I got a shut, maybe she has no morals. I think I got to clean the house. Maybe she'll end up back here.
Sure.
That
What's
kind of thing.
He slipped into no morals.
I know, I like that.
Real smoothly.
When you are dating,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
are like
dating.
if you are talking to somebody on the app, are you saying I'm Dov Davidoff comedian or I'm Dov
Wouldn't
the
mean
real
any-
estate
the
investor?
average chick on the app wouldn't know from, unless, although back in the day, I did get a lot, that Chelsea shit, they would watch that, these fucking geniuses that watch anything. Yeah. No, I mean, it was good for banging, but beyond that, the utility value of that sort of minimal fame is very weak.
The junkyard comes out of you real quick.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
King size bed over at the house?
No, queen.
Got a queen.
Because it came from my old apartment. I thought there's no reason to buy another one unless I'm in a relationship, and I'm not in a long-term relationship.
All right, just you. I'll give you the queen. That
Gotcha.
works.
Yeah.
That
You
makes
got
sense.
a comforter? Nice
I
comforter?
got a comforter, yeah.
How many pillows
it's
are on the
decent
bed?
Comforter. I got 3 pillows. I use one as a computer to sort of hold the tablet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
TV in the room?
No. Laptop.
No. Do you watch something before you go to
I got a
bed?
big TV in the room. I never watch. My kid watches TV while he eats cereal in the morning, but I
Okay.
rarely have it on. Usually the laptop.
You read before you go to bed?
I have not been reading enough lately. I read out on, wherever, the train, you're waiting somewhere, but no, not enough.
And what
Not
do you
enough.
read? You read the
I'm
actual...
trying to meditate more so that I can slow it down to read. This internet's killing people.
Yeah.
It's just,
Brutal.
yeah.
my girlfriend put a thing down where she's like, I don't want us on our phones anymore going to bed.
Yeah.
She started reading.
Yeah.
Dude, I tried to do it one night. I
It's not
got
easy.
like 3 letters in. My fucking
I
brain
hate the
shut
book.
It's
down.
so true. Well, one, were you reading fiction or nonfiction?
I was reading Mark Twain's Letters from Hawaii or something like
Twain is tremendous, right? I mean, but you think about the environment.
As a
He was
hustler.
walking around and, yeah, not a great business person, but hell of a writer.
Never even owned below 14th Street.
exactly.
that. I told him get in, but he didn't see
No, I
it.
forget what business but he got into a lot of debt. He got into financial trouble later
Yeah.
on in his life, Twain, yeah.
Would you recommend? I'm sorry.
Fascinating name origin. How he got his name? Mark Twain? Because that was a pseudonym, not
He
his
has
real
a
name.
pseudonym. Samuel Coleridge or something like that was his real name.
Right, but Mark
Or
Twain.
he wrote under that. I can't
But he
remember
wanted
what
to
it
be a
was.
riverboat captain, and Twain was a measurement of the depth of the river, so that you could, make sure that the boat had enough clearance or something.
Twain.
Yeah, Twain.
Huh.
Yeah, fascinating.
Man. You're fascinating.
Very much so.
wild.
Trying to get
I
through
mean-
life like everybody else.
Where, if you are going on a date, even with friends or whatever, you going out
Yeah.
to nice restaurants? You doing like are you a
you
foodie
a
a little
Depends
bit?
on the date. No, I appreciate good food. I cook. I can make a soup. I'm not afraid to. Not afraid to experiment with the coconut milk. I'll go Thai. I'll go other ethnicities.
Wow. You'll make it? You're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Do you
I
have a
cook
favorite
little bit.
restaurant in the
I cook
city?
A little bit.
Place you like going, even if it's the vibes, not even the food. Just
Not a favorite one. Not a favorite. Oh, what's that place in the East Village? I was running sort of an analysis of what makes a good restaurant. Assuming you don't want to pay for Danielle or something like that, and I don't. And that pre-feast stuff, I can't stand with somebody coming with 6 different dishes and then explaining. It's like, all right. But there's a fucking place on A Street. I'm forgetting it a goddamn name. Mogador.
Cafe Mogador.
It's
great.
It's got atmosphere.
It's great.
You got chicks walking in and out of there sometimes. So you got some
East
you got
Village
something to
broads.
look at, broads. And
also
and,
right
and
on
the
St.
food's
Mark's,
and
so
the
it's-
food's
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Now that all sounds relatively basic. It's not. Very few restaurants have been able to execute that strategy in a sustainable manner, and I've been researching this. I mean, empirically, not actually data-based. But yeah,
More
anyway.
craziness in my head.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You like Minetta?
Minetta Tavern?
Yeah.
it's crowded. You get a bit of a finance bro energy in there from time to time. The food is good. I love the atmosphere. I
Great
liked
vibes.
it better before McNally took it over, and it used to be run by a guy named Taka, Eastern European guy. We used to go and hang out in shows. Tal would go stop by. I think he would stop, and Geraldo was hanging out back then. It was a cool spot back
You like
then.
a bite at the cellar, I assume, right?
I like the food at the cellar. I think it's good.
Great food.
Knockout.
Yeah, I think it's good, man.
One of the underrated best restaurants in the city.
I think the
Without
Olive
the
Tree
club.
is good. I agree.
Crazy good.
I agree. And people don't realize. I mean, it's not super busy. It's not.
No.
And you can get something to eat late night
Till like
there.
1
Totally.
a.m.
Get
on
a
the
fucking
weekend.
cutlet with mashed potatoes.
Absolutely. It's great. It's
I
great.
was there late last weekend, and I thought they were coming out to do last call on beers. And
Yeah.
like, last call for the kitchen. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fucking 1:45.
No, they keep
Give me a
going,
burger.
man. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
threw
I
in a
agree.
Porsche. Yeah.
So, do you not like to fly?
Yeah, no, because it's annoying. But I don't, when you're on the airplane, if you can guarantee we're going to take off and land at the time you tell me we are, which nobody can, and that doesn't seem to be getting any better. I don't know where flight delays are at in terms of percentages, but it's not good.
When do you?
And
I'm sorry.
no, what am I saying? Something important? Jump in any time. I'm babbling about fucking airlines. What am I, a stock analyst?
Ask me
This
a
is
question. Then you
important.
cut me off, fatty.
Cut me off as much as you want.
Sorry.
I got nothing on airlines.
I'm vamping over here.
I'm filling space, baby. You know.
I got nothing on airlines.
I got 14 cameras in front of me. I got to fill space.
Do you like to fly up front? Is what I was going to ask you.
No, I won't pay for that.
That's a waste.
Yeah,
no,
you're
no,
not
I'm
gonna
not
pay
paying.
for
No,
it.
no. Up front
smart guy.
domestically, if you got lie flats, there's an argument going to Europe. You save up some points, or you really, you go out for a seat if it's your honeymoon or whatever, and fly lie flats. Otherwise, if you think, I would listen to these comedians, people with no money, rambling about how, they could have taken the money or the first class seats. Like, take the fucking $7,000.
You're talking to two of them right
Man,
here.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's human nature. It's human nature. But I just think about, you run a cost-benefit analysis, and you go, I could hire a fucking driver and a Bentley for what that seat just cost. I could hire the driver for a week, have him take me around everywhere and, the fourth arrondissement in Paris. And meanwhile, I blew it on a seat. Now
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I've had 3 truffles. They make all this. They gave me a truffle after the fucking airplane food. Anyway,
I
you
like
get
the
point.
chocolate.
guys get the
point.
I do too, but I could buy a truffle store for what the goddamn seat cost.
How old were you when you got your passport?
I have no idea. Oh, well, when I went to India, I must have had a
Right.
passport.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I was 12 years old in India.
Have you traveled around the world a lot or a little?
Yeah, for comedy, I've gone places with my ex-wife. We went to, standard Paris and Rome. Things
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Very nice.
Australia for comedy. That Australia is overrated. Listen, it's a nice place, right? But it's basically the U.S. 10 years ago. And so you're going to fly 17 fucking hours to
Crazy.
get. The only thing different about
To
them
get
and
to
us
the-
is a
to-
kangaroo. There's nothing there
Get
that's
on a
that
plane
different.
for 17 hours to land
Where
in
am
the
I going?
90s. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to travel that far, go to a jungle, go to a different culture. Oh, jean jackets. I haven't seen any of these.
Australia, we love you.
I flew 16 hours and paid 20 grand for a first class seat. I saw a jean jacket and
Hammer pants.
a weird bird.
Who's cutting the hair?
Me. I do it myself.
No shit, 'cause that's a
Jesus.
good
100%.
cut.
No, do it myself. I get one of those little attachments. I do the whole thing myself.
How you do the back?
You can do it if you slow down and you just go. You can feel it after a while.
Are you biting the nails? You clipping the nails?
I clip them.
You clip
Used to
them.
bite them. Clip them.
Floss every day?
Yeah, I have these picks that are good, not floss.
Electric toothbrush, regular toothbrush.
Fucking, I got an electric. I just don't plug it in. I use a regular, but I should go electric. You're right. I feel shame.
You have an electric.
It's right in the drawer.
You just
Never.
don't use it. You don't use the electric as a regular because it's not
Haven't,
charged.
The buzzing thing, yeah. I've been using a regular, but I got to switch out.
Okay.
Brush your
I'm going
teeth
to
in
do
the
it
shower?
tonight. I'm going to do it tonight. No. My showers are no longer than 35, maybe 60 seconds.
You're in and out like that.
In and out.
What kind of soap?
Why?
You doing one
60
soap, one
seconds.
shampoo? What's the?
Soap is overused. I go to the gym in the morning, and then if you're
gym?
perspiring, there's a boxing gym across the street from my house.
Yeah, he
But
can
if-
throw hands. I
Oh, he
forgot.
can?
If
Yeah.
you're aspiring, I mean, for a comedian, I'm not Canelo.
Well, I mean, if that's your comparison. I'm not Muhammad Ali, but I'm knocking the fuck out.
You're the toughest,
Yeah,
richest
yeah.
guy we've ever met. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Did you fight a lot as a
Well,
kid?
Not a lot. People have generally stayed away from me.
He's got a sawed-off shotgun and hand grenades.
No, there were. I had a couple of real bad incidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had my jaw broken in 2 places. Another time, a felony with a knife. But
What
that
age?
stopped when
Kid,
I was
young,
young.
like-
I had that happen when I was 18. I got jumped in the street, that kind of thing. But not a whole lot.
You ever had your
I
IQ?
broke down with my neighbor, this son of a bitch, where I was living on Mulberry Street. This scumbag, maybe a decent guy when he's sober, but this fucking guy, this bass was banging through my walls. This is interesting because it takes us through our current political regime, and maybe it's been that way for a while in New York City. But I asked in every way with a wink and a smile, please, please, please. Finally, one night I just called the cops, 3 a.m, and then what happened? Oh yeah, the cops came, shut him down. Guy got angry, comes banging at my door at 3 a.m, yelling to his party goers. He says, "This is the old single loser." Outside my
I
door
got
at
some
3
trim in
a.m.
here, buddy.
Younger guy?
Yeah, younger.
Whoa.
Younger, early 30s. Decent sized guy with his friend. And I opened I laced up my shoes. I knew it's not going to go well at 3 a.m. You're yelling.
Lacing up
the
your
guy-
shoes before you open
Yeah, you
the
gotta
door
lace up your
is
shoes.
a pro move.
No, you
I feel
never
like those
want
were
to
wrestling
slip.
shoes. For sure.
I put on a singlet and some wrestling shoes.
He comes out, he's got a mouth guard and boxing gloves.
No.
Tape in his hands.
But
Yeah,
the
who
dude
wants to be
pushed
the
his
hero?
way. The dude pushed his way in, and I ended up, we got into it, and it busted up his face a little bit.
Nice.
They called the cops. An ambulance showed up. A paramedic showed up. They took me to jail.
Oh,
He
shit.
forced his way into your house.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They don't adjudicate any of that in the police in New York. They don't give you the benefit of the doubt because they're not allowed to. The DA will determine whether or not you're guilty of assault.
The police have to
Police
go.
have to
There's
cuff
an
you.
incident.
If
they
that
have to
dude's
bring-
bleeding.
Yeah.
So the experience you have outside is because we run a pervasive operation. If people get punched in their fucking mouth more often, there would be a lot more self-awareness on the street. People go, oh, well, mental illness. I used to live near the Hells Angels on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
Their block, they controlled that
Ooh,
block.
that
No
was a clean
dealers,
block.
no crime, clean as hell. Suddenly the mentally ill people weren't so mentally ill that they hung out on the block.
They knew not to
understood.
fuck with the Hells Angels.
That's correct.
They were sober enough for that.
That's right. And we're running when you're guilty in a self-defense scenario, but that's neither here nor there. We don't have to
What?
get
How
into
long ago was this?
that. Oh, a couple of years ago.
Did you
No,
pat-
those was 2 years ago.
Did you patch it up with the-
This was recently.
The charges were dropped, I would assume.
We both got locked up.
Okay.
Luckily, there was a witness that told the cops that this dude sort of pushed his way after I opened the door. He pushed his way into the house. But I think it was a simultaneous dropping of charges. But could have kept going.
You guys ever patch things up? He ever come over and apologize or anything?
Yeah, I think he said, maybe 6 months later, we had a restraining order. We weren't allowed. If we were in the hallway at the same time,
Someone
one
had
of
to
us had to
stop,
take the stairs. It was just a bullshit situation.
That's
I was just
wild.
surprised that I'm sitting in jail for being a decent citizen and trying to get this guy to lower to not run a nightclub on Thursdays. I mean,
Hey,
it's,
ladies drink for free.
yeah, exactly.
Tuned up some
Yeah.
young punk running his mouth.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
What's the watch
Yeah.
there?
Oh, this is one of those. It's a remake of that 1960s tag. That.
Okay. You like a
Paul
nice watch?
Newman. I do. I used to watch a lot of those, like watch reviews and things like that, and the analog in a digital world. It is a unique thing to look at something that's got hundreds of years of this development, the evolution of it,
Jesus
the engineering,
Christ.
and
That
to have an
explanation.
analog thing in a digital world with weight, that actually works without batteries. You just wind it, and it lives on
Continues
its
to
own.
work, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you use it to move, it's like an Yeah, it's an engineering. It's the art of something, you know.
And it holds its value real nice too.
Yes, most don't. Most don't.
This is where you're wrong.
No, most.
Man, you tried to step in the big boy water, didn't you? You just pushed your way into his front door.
I've never once worn a watch.
Yeah, no, you don't need them.
You
don't
can't
need 'em.
read time.
No, you put your money in the S&P. If you want a passive investment, you put your money in
Put
a
it
cash
just
flowing
in the
asset.
market, right?
Everybody here, yes,
8%,
a
6%,
fucking
whatever it is.
a sub annually
noodles,
over the
and
last
pussy.
100 years. Every 10 years, your money's likely to double if you reinvest the dividends. But it gets 7% roughly a year.
Say I got
over
$4
time.
grand cash. What am I doing?
Well, you can
got $4
buy.
grand?
No, that you can invest anything. You know, I mean, if you're in public markets, you can't buy a building, but you can buy.
Should you buy an apartment in New York or no to live in? I hear you shouldn't do it.
Well, we have to separate out whether or not this is an investment consideration, or if psychologically it would provide you with peace of mind to have a place that you enjoyed to live in.
Man, he made it too deep.
No, whereas
No, you're right. Of
because
course
as
you're
an
right.
investor, I would never put my money into
live
a
in, 'cause it's
residential
brutal,
apartment.
yeah.
No, not just
Really?
no.
I heard it's I heard
Huh.
it's too expensive.
I thought you would be
It's
killing two birds with one
expensive.
stone.
the taxes,
expense.
the maintenance fees.
No, but the word expensive is an entirely relative word, right? Just like the word cheap, and it requires juxtaposition in order to understand whether, like, look, if that stock goes from 100 to 50, you can go it's cheap unless it's fallen to 10. Right?
Then it's
It was
expensive.
only cheap if it went back up to 100. Then it's cheap. And so if you look at an apartment and you think about it as an investment, you're already losing against multifamily buildings. You can get a commercial loan on a multifamily building with an LLC, not in your own name, reduce the liability and get much better returns. You can get a 6 cap return. That's 6% on your money if you bought it all cash. You'd be lucky to get 2% on your money after expenses in a condo. A condo is a purchase. It's a consumption. It's not an investment in some ways.
Gibby, let's buy an apartment building.
Let's do it.
No, I don't
Toby,
love.
draw
I don't.
up the people. Draw up the
I
people.
don't love the risk profile in New York right now. Back. You know, I was lucky when I got involved. I don't love it right now.
Can you whistle with your fingers?
No.
Can you
Can't do
whistle?
it. No.
What are you doing for color? You go tanning, or is this just
No.
natural?
I'm walking around outside.
This is it.
That's it.
Huh.
that's
You always
it.
got good color.
I'm a heterosexual. I don't tan.
What do you think about my father? Have you ever owned a pool cue or a bowling ball?
Never. No.
Any what's the word I'm looking for? I think I'm getting
Do
dumber
you have any
around
cash
here.
on you?
I feel like I'm
No.
getting stupider around here because I'm trying to sound smart. What's it called? Not the immediate family.
Extended.
Extended. Thank you.
Yeah. What about them?
Anybody have a wedding recently?
Yeah, my good family friends. They have kids and they keep having weddings.
Okay.
Are you going to
I got
these
another
weddings?
3 this summer, I think. Yeah.
You go to the wedding?
I go to them because I like all the people.
What do you like to
Yeah.
put in the envelope?
What are you greasing them with?
Near and
I've been
dear.
going $100 bills for people that I have very, very limited, sort of.
See how he mentioned
connection
five,
with-
$100.
Yeah,
They're crisp.
You're not going with
They're
20s.
crisp. Yeah.
They're crisp.
Yeah, and so I think 500 over the course of wedding after wedding. If I were close, if we were closer and that kind of thing, then I would give a lot more.
Jesus.
Wow.
500's real good.
That's
yeah, it's
great.
What do you-
decent for somebody that you don't have, for
No, that's real. That's
kids
that's,
of
from what
friends.
we've heard. That's
Very classy.
That's good for
Yeah.
even being. That's very good for being close to somebody. Yeah.
What are you wearing to the wedding?
Oh well, just what.
You got a nice
I
suit? You
have
got
a
a
suit.
couple
no,
nice
not
suits?
nice. Not that nice.
Probably look sharp in
Nordstrom
a
Rack.
suit.
Nah, Nordstrom Rack. There's nothing you can't get at the Rack.
Buddy, I can't get anything at the rack.
No, I'm just saying. This whole thing.
They're
of,
over there at the rack.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, a worse place to. These. Anyway.
Will
yeah.
you dance at a wedding?
Probably not a wedding, but I used to go to nightclubs. I mean, I was hanging out with Puerto Ricans for years. I
gotta dance.
I'm not bad for a white guy.
Did you go to Limelight?
Oh yeah.
Hit the tunnel?
I banged in the tunnel. No, in the Limelight. I banged in one of the upper rooms, the old church.
Good
Yeah.
for you, yeah.
back in the day. I mean, that was the highlight. That's why I bring that up. It was some broad.
Wasn't that where Chaz Palminteri was a bouncer?
Yeah, Chaz
I had
Palminteri
a
was
development
bouncer
deal
there.
with Chaz.
We
I
had him
knew
on the
Chaz.
show.
Chaz
Classy
is great.
guy.
Chaz is really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
he's,
he's
a,
awesome.
he's a character, yeah.
He's
He
good.
had his dog. He was showing me how good his dog was at. He got this high-end German Shepherd that's been trained. It's got a buzzer. And so I'm standing at one side of his big backyard. He sends that dog. And he goes, I can stop it. And then, but he gave it a command. Fucking dog didn't stop. It's running straight at me. You have to give it a few commands. And so, yes, the dog listened, but not as well as he said it would.
I mean, you know.
I mean, it's not even close, right? He's all class.
He's all clear. I mean, he came from a junkyard and, like, fucking, you know, he turned it completely around.
I wanted to ask you before, have you ever had your IQ tested?
Nah. No, I could only be disappointed.
I don't know.
No, listen.
You
You
might
know,
be a supervillain.
I don't know. You do what you can. And
You poison a well, you know,
all trying to make it through. Yeah.
trying to reconcile this life.
Yeah, that's
I assume
I
you-
am. That's it.
I
Yeah.
assume you don't eat in the car.
I never eat in a car. That I keep real clean.
Do you wear any cologne?
I do. I wear a light blue. It's called.
Okay.
When was the last time you ate fast food?
Oh, I'm not afraid of a light Burger King. But I don't eat a lot of fast food. Yeah, but a
Light
sweet,
Burger
sweet King, nothing like it.
Would that be your go-to as the king?
I would tear into a light King. Yeah, that would.
What's a
be
guy
it.
like you get when you? If
I
you're
just
popping
get
in
a
there?
Whopper with cheese. What I would get at the King.
You get
but,
the fries and the soda?
Nope, never. No,
Hey,
no.
He's all right, this guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sharp as a tack.
smart,
Love you.
well thought out, classy guy.
Listen, you guys are decent people. A lot of people probably don't have that opinion, but it's all relative. That's another thing. I was reading in this book about spirituality, this real brass tack spirituality, and he talked about this experience of it's like hearing credits or hearing the way someone thinks about you. Like, we want to be well thought of, but the truth is that we have to be divorced from being impacted, whether we are well thought of or not, because it's just another person's assessment of us, and it's not us, and we have to be careful of identity. Identity leads a lot of us in the wrong direction.
What
It's
do you
connected
think
to
of
ego.
yourself?
It's like people that buy like bottle service. Like what are you paying for, genius? You could buy a pack of hookers for 9 hours for what you spent on a bottle of $38 vodka. You fucking idiot. Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
What do you think of yourself?
I think I've undershot some things. I think I've had some good luck. I think that my EQ is probably higher than my IQ. I mean, I experience, probably a similar amount of shame as the average person, but I'm also feel fortunate and I have perspective. I could be in the Ukraine in a dugout right now. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just trying to reconcile.
Pretty
but I
fucking-
got a kid.
Pretty fascinating, my friend.
I'm doing what I can, but I got a kid, so it's not about me. Once you have a kid, it's about
changes,
somebody
right.
else.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
Yeah.
go.
Beautiful.
that's it.
Dov Davidoff, everybody.
Fantastic, buddy. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys. Thanks. Nice to meet you guys. I appreciate it.
I got a settlement I got to get to.
100% class.
Yeah, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Crazy upbringing.
Uh huh.
100% class.
Fantastic.
Down the line. Anything you got? You want the folks out there to know?
Yeah, I got a fucking buyer tried to cancel contract on me this week based on a contingency he doesn't have. That's not going to go well for him. I want everybody to know that.
Kippy, what do you got for
We
them?
love you. All live show tickets are on sale. AreYouGarbage.com. We'll see you out there, gang.
Gang, we love you. We'll see you next week.
Peace.